Hi everyone. Here I'm hanging by a rod from the sky, looks like, huh? We're going to talk about something very interesting today about how to manage corneas which are much thinner for recommended corneal cross-linking to halt the progression of keratoconus. We just had a kid come in recently whose parents did not have enough money, and so he had been procrastinating for getting cross-linking for keratoconus. So we did the first eye, which met the qualifications, and the option for the second eye was either a DOLC procedure, which is deep anterior lamellar keratoplasty, or a full thickness keratoplasty because of medical issues. But he did not want the corneal transplant, and he did not want to go anywhere else except us. So we were in a dilemma what to do. So we contacted our other keratoconus experts around the world and say, hey, what should we do for this kid? And boom, came back the answer. And that's what we did. And that is called contact lens assisted corneal cross-linking. So let me describe how we do this. Patient's name will shorten to MF, who's 27-year-old, very nice guy, and very apprehensive, wants to avoid corneal transplant at any cost. So he comes in, and the first thing we do is an OCT pachymetry map, because that's going to be a guiding principle for the epi of corneal cross-linking, which is going to give him better sight. Once we do that, we map out and look at the thinnest zones and mark them. It's very important you mark them both on the map and, if possible, even on the cornea. Luckily for us, he had some opacities in the thinnest zone, so that was naturally marked. And why it's important, I'll come to that in a few minutes later in the presentation. So we do the first step is remove the epithelium. And there are many ways to remove the epithelium, but we chose to remove the epithelium with the C2H5OH so that we don't thin out the cornea anymore. The next phase was the simple phase, where we use Photrexa from Avidro, which is FDA approved riboflavin made according to the good manufacturing practices. And we used it alternately with Photrexa viscous, because viscous gives better protection. At the same time, we took a contact lens which does not have a UV blocker, and in this case it was Pure Vision a minus a quarter, and we soaked it in Photrexa viscous for 30 minutes. So here's the patient receiving riboflavin eye drops every minute for 30 minutes, and on the side we have contact lens immersed in Photrexa. And just to clarify, so it was Photrexa viscous. The contact lens is soaked in Photrexa viscous. There's two kinds of riboflavin: viscous, which has dextran, and hypotonic, which is called Photrexa. The one with dextran is better because it does not swell up the cornea, whereas the one without the dextran can swell the cornea. But then also the swelling causes some damage to the endothelial cell. So this technique preserves the endothelial cells. So anyway, for next 30 minutes, he's listening to music. We are putting mostly Photrexa viscous in his eye, and the contact lens is swimming in Photrexa viscous in a small cubicle. After 30 minutes, we take him to the OCT and map out his cornea again to see how thin it has become. Then we put the contact lens on, and contact lens is 90 microns thick, and we measure it. Now it's important, the combined measurement of the contact lens and the cornea in the thinnest zone should be more than 400 microns to protect the endothelial cells and inner structures from damage by the UV radiation. So once we were comfortable that it was above 400, then we can proceed. At the same time, we have to check for fluorescence and the slit lamp to make sure riboflavin has penetrated into the anterior chamber. In this case, we were successful on both counts. And so for next 30 minutes, we put the KXL system from Avidro focused on the center of his cornea and applied the radiation while the contact lens was still on. So the contact lens allowed the UV radiation to pass through, but it added to the barrier so it would not reach in the depths of cornea hitting the endothelial cell. And at the end of the procedure, we took out that contact lens with riboflavin and put in a new contact lens so he could go home. Day 4, he was already very happy. And for a cornea which was very much bulging, he said he could see much approval for this amazing technology. Your corneas were not waiting to thin. Come to us and we'll guide you how to get the best out of this FDA-approved procedure. You can also visit thekeratoconus.com to learn more about these and other procedures which we are constantly introducing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. As always, you can send us your questions